Welcome to the Harvey Hour. Today is Friday, June 17th, 2022. Welcome to the Harvey Hour. My name is Nathan Harvey. I'm your host. I'm joined alongside by my dad once again, Stephen Harvey. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Great to be here.
I want to start off right now with the Warriors won. Warriors won Game 6 of the NBA Finals like one person here predicted. Steph Curry wins a Finals MVP. But yes, the Warriors are able to close out in Game 6 with a 103-90 win over the Celtics. The Celtics are up 2-1 in the series, so I have to ask you, you chose the Celtics. You chose them to win in 6. You were scared of Game 7. What exactly happened that the Celtics absolutely imploded on themselves after Game 3?
Several things.
Okay.
First, the Warriors had a lot more experience playing in finals than the Celtics did.
Right.
That was obvious. I can talk more about that, but first I'll go through all the reasons.
Sure.
Okay? That's first. I think the experience of the Warriors being more comfortable in the finals series, particularly after they lost Game 1. They didn't seem too rattled after they lost Game 1. And so I think that the experience factor was very important. Second, I think the Celtics were outcoached. I think that Steve Kerr outcoached. I can't even pronounce the guy's name. What's his
Ime Udoka?
Yeah, Udoka. I think Udoka's a very good coach.
Right.
But after the first couple of games, the Warriors definitely figured out the Celtics. Their defense was smothering. It was like they protected way out. They weren't worried about the Celtics beating them with quickness because the Warriors were smaller and they were quicker. Right, so they guarded very close on their defense when the Celtics were on offense. They were right on every player, and right. they will cover them like a blanket. They weren't worried that they would beat them, and the Celtics couldn't figure that out. They couldn't beat them.
Right,
and then they got frustrated by not having the open shots on the three point line. Right, so they tried to drive. And those guys, they couldn't handle the ball. They kept turning it over. I mean, Jason Tatum, he was turning the ball over. Marcus Smart turning the ball over. Those guys were, they didn't adjust to what the Warriors did. The Warriors had a great strategy for defense, and the Celtics never figured it out after they started losing those 3 games in a row. 3 games in a row, they never figured that out. The Warriors did the same thing every game. And so that was, I think, the coaching. I think Steve Kerr, he gives a lot of credit for his strategy with the defense. I think the Jason Tatum didn't really show up, and that was a factor. Steve Curry was all-world in that series, except for one game. And in that one game, I think the Warriors anticipated that the Celtics would not let Curry, would deny him the ball, and they went to other guys, and those guys stepped up. Wiggins, for example, he really stepped up. He had a great series, and so I think that Tatum just he didn't match Curry, and that's what was expected. He's the superstar for the Celtics, and he didn't match Curry.
Yeah.
I think the Celtics sloppy on offense, and that's partly because of the suffocating defense by the Warriors. They turned the ball over way too much. That was the announcers talked about that a lot. If the Celtics turn the ball over more than 17 times, they lose. Right. And that happened every game they lost. They turned it over way too many times.
Right.
Devin White didn't show up. Yeah. He didn't show up in the finals, unfortunately. He played great in the preliminaries. In one game, the first game of the finals, he was good, but I don't know what was wrong with him. He seemed very tentative. He had some shots on the three-point line. He didn't take them. He just passed the ball.
Yeah.
I think Jaylen Brown, he played the best of all of them for the Celtics. And certainly Curry was best for the Warriors. He got the MVP, deservedly so.
Right.
I don't like Draymond Green. I think the guy's a head case. He's unsportsmanlike. I think he should have been kicked out of the game there with a second technical foul in the game. Which game was it? 2? Game 2.
It was Game 2.
Yeah. And I feel sorry for Al Horford that they didn't win, since it's the first time he's made the finals in like 140 playoff games.
Right.
I think the Celtics they're young, and I think they'll be back. And I think maybe the Warriors will be back as well, because the Splash Brothers certainly showed. Klay Thompson didn't have. At first, he didn't play that great, but he stepped it up later on in the series. And that Poole guy, he was unconscious at times, hitting these shots from 40 miles out. I don't know how he did that. So.
Yeah.
And I think Draymond Green is past his prime. He can't shoot the three-pointer anymore. He's just a bully out there. That's his role. Wiggins is a up-and-coming guy. He should be an all-star the way he played. He really made a difference. He and Curry together were something else. So I think the Warriors, they deservedly won it. The coaching was better. Players were more experienced. Curry was what everyone expected. He had a all-world series. The role players did their job, and they had the great defense. And the Celtics, Tatum didn't live up to expectations. Maybe the expectations are a little too high for him, since it's his first finals, and he is very young. And they didn't, I don't know, they don't have, maybe they need a point guard. Maybe they need a general out there on the floor, because at times their offense looked very uncoordinated and chaotic, and with too many turnovers. So that's my synopsis. Okay?
Yeah. So
do you agree with any of it?
Oh, of course. I agree with a lot of it. I think a key part for the Warriors was that smothering defense. Yes, the Celtics did have the number one defense in the regular season, but the Warriors were right behind them. And through most of the season, actually, the Warriors did have the number one defense in the league. I think a huge part about it was, and you saw it early on, was Jason Tatum and his turnovers. This is the first time an NBA player has ever hit triple digits in turnovers. And Jason Tatum had over 100 turnovers in the playoffs. Like, you don't see that ever. This is the first time it's happened. He could not handle the ball very well.
He needs to practice that.
Absolutely.
Or maybe they should have said, don't do that. Just catch and shoot. Catch and shoot.
Right.
Get him open, whip the ball around the outside, the perimeter. Try to have somebody else drive inside and kick it back out. Just catch it and shoot it. Don't try to dribble it.
Right.
That would have been a much better strategy. Oh, one other thing I want to say.
Go for it. Go for it.
No offensive rebounding by the Celtics. They had no offensive rebounds, and that hurt them. And the Warriors had plenty.
Yes.
They got the offensive rebound many times.
Absolutely.
And that's something the Celtics just they watch the shot. If it missed, they just turn around and run down the floor. They need to work on the offensive rebounding and on the ball handling, not turning the ball over. That could have made a big difference. And their foul shooting stunk too. And and not this last night's game, but the game before they missed 10 free throws.
Right.
That could have made the game very close.
Well, they were down by 10, so if they make that, it would be a tie game.
Tie game.
Yeah.
So can't miss those free throws in the finals. I'm sorry.
No, there's no problem. So Jason Tatum, turnover machine. It seemed. I actually tweeted out I believe it was after Game 5, when late in the third quarter, it was sort of, you saw that the Celtics were getting hot, and I said, well, this is looking eerily similar to Game 1, where the Celtics had that amazing run in the fourth quarter, and they just could not be stopped. Another thing that I would focus on with the Celtics was the horrible performance from the bench. Throughout the Heat series, they relied on the bench to back them up. Derek White was hitting shots against the Heat. That was a key part of the reason why they beat the Heat. You had even players like a Peyton Pritchard hitting 2 threes would help them, right? Grant Williams coming off the bench. He was usually a good help for them.
Grant Williams was horrible in the finals.
How
many points did he score? Even 10 points in all the games together?
He scored 3 in this last game.
3 in the last game. I think he had 4 in the previous 2. Yeah. I don't think he got to 10 points in the whole series.
Well, he was a very key part in the game 6 against the Bucks. I think he had 20 something points.
I'm talking about the finals.
Oh, no, it might have even been game 7.
Yeah, he had one really good game there, but that guy, he was missing in action.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. They counted on him.
Yeah. And I talked about this when we did our show in Hawaii. I said the key of this is the Celtics defense against the plethora of weapons that the Warriors have. The Warriors have a bench. They have a proper bench. The Celtics really don't, because their bench had Grant Williams, it had Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, and I guess Tice didn't play in this game, but they have a bunch of no-names. Neesmith, Hauser, Morgan, Cornette,
some of
Stalkus.
those guys, some of the Warriors have no-name guys, too, way down the bench. Generally, they play 8 people. Most teams play, they got a rotation of 7 or 8 guys, right?
Yeah. No, but like a lot of the Warriors players are super young. But no, like I understand, yes. The Warriors do have no names
way down the bench.
Yeah, way down. But the people that are on that finals team that didn't play, it's just because they're too young, they were inexperienced. The Warriors didn't want to put them in a position for them to lose the game. So Kuminga, who's a rookie, he didn't play at all in this game. Bielitsa, who actually played a little bit in the last game, he didn't play in this one. He was a big. Juan Toscano Anderson, I think, never saw the court for more than maybe 3 minutes. Damian Lee barely played. And then Moses Moody played when they were down or up by 20 each.
Yeah.
So I think the horrible performance from the Celtics bench, that was a very, very key part. And you brought up recently, like one of the last points you made, the Celtics do not have a true point guard. They have Marcus Smart, who's a phenomenal defensive player. He won Defensive Player of the Year, but he's not a facilitator of the offense. If you take a look at the Warriors right now, Draymond Green's a facilitator. Stephen Curry's a facilitator. Wiggins is a facilitator. Klay Thompson. Any one of the guys that touch the ball, Jordan Poole, they can facilitate an offense. If you have Marcus Smart bringing the ball up every single time, he's not a facilitator.
Stephen Curry is a point guard.
Absolutely.
Right? He's a proven point guard. He knows how to distribute the ball. He knows when to keep it himself. He doesn't turn it over much. He's an excellent ball handler. That's something Marcus Smart, maybe he could work on it and get better at it. But he's kind of I don't know. I think sometimes he's kind of a head case. He's out there.
He had very strange fouls. That third foul, he just ran over Curry in a screen.
Yeah.
Like he plays sometimes without a brain. Like
I know.
It's just clueless basketball.
I know.
But I believe, yes, the Celtics actually, the odds came out super early. Like as soon as the game ended, the odds came out. Obviously, the Celtics would be the second highest to reach the NBA Finals again, or the power ranking, sorry. The Nets were the second to reach the Finals, Warriors being number 1 to make it back here. I think the Celtics do have a serious shot at making it back here, but they need to make some changes. They need to develop a bench. That's the first thing. Develop a bench. The second thing
Devin White is a good player. He just
Derek
had a bad series. I don't know. He played very well in the other series.
Yeah, Derek White, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's a good 3-point shooter. I don't know why he just wouldn't take those shots. He lost his confidence or something. I think just inexperience, But he's really, I agree with you. There isn't much left on the bench besides him. He didn't play that well.
Him and Grant Williams are really the only bench players that play, and I guess Pritchard, consistently.
Pritchard, I think, has possibilities. He's a pretty good ball handler. He doesn't turn it over much, and he can penetrate and then dish it back out, and he has a very good 3-point shot.
Yes,
although he wasn't hitting it last night. So
yeah, but I think for the Celtics to make it back here, they need to develop a bench. Jason Tatum needs to stop turning the ball over. I think Jaylen Brown. I said this. Yeah, Game 5. I said if the Celtics win this, Jaylen Brown will be the MVP, not Jason Tatum. Because people expected Jason Tatum to be a superstar. That's what people were questioning, if he's a superstar or not. And I think this game proved to you he's not a superstar yet. Because his inconsistencies when they need him the most. He scored 13 points. He shot 6 of 18, 1 of 4 from 3. 7 assists, 3 steals, 1 block, 5 turnovers. Those 5 turnovers actually came all in the second half. The second half, he was abysmal in the second half. Scored almost nothing and 5 turnovers.
I feel bad because he's a better player than that.
Absolutely.
He's definitely a better player than that. I think the stage maybe a little too big for those guys, given it's their first finals. And I agree with you. I think Jaylen Brown played a lot better than.
He scored 34.
Yeah.
He scored 34 on 12 of 23 shooting, 5-11 from 3.
Yeah. So there's trouble with his free throws sometimes. So.
Also his handles. He also had 5 turnovers, but he had 34 points.
Yeah.
So you at least, got it back in some
Well, he was
sense.
handling the ball a lot. They got him the ball a lot, so turning it over once in a while is expected. But they need, I don't know. I'm not sure what they need to do next year. I think they need to pick up another player or something.
They need to pick up a true point guard.
Yeah.
They need someone to facilitate an offense that's a legitimate point guard. But the question is, though,
I mean, they didn't win it when they had Kyrie Irving, and he was, I don't know. Do you think he's a true point guard?
Yeah. Kyrie Irving
he's a head case, I think.
I don't know. Kyrie is such an interesting player because what he could do on the court is magnificent. His handles are some of the best ever in the NBA. Him and Allen Iverson, some of the best handles that I've ever seen in the NBA. But then you get down to, like, sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not. Especially with the Celtics. The Celtics and the Celtics crowd. I can understand why the Celtics crowd during the first round hated Kyrie Irving. Because he said he would never leave Boston, and he goes up and leaves at the first chance he really gets. So I can understand that. But Kyrie Irving, I would say, yeah, he was probably the closest thing to a true facilitator since Rajon Rondo. Rajon Rondo was a serious true point guard. Yeah. And that's what helped them win, was the fact that he was a true point. And that's why, even now he's still sought after. The Lakers used him to win back in 2020 when they won inside the bubble.
Yeah.
So the Celtics need a true point guard. But the question is, though, who are you going to replace on the starting five? Are you going to do Smart, or are you going to do a true point guard, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Al Horford? Replace Robert Williams, who was the second most blocks per game in the NBA? I mean, in this game alone,
maybe you replace Horford.
Robert Williams had 5 blocks.
You may replace Horford.
Like, yeah, he's getting up there in age. He's, 36
right now?
I
think he still comes back, but he's off the bench.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Should come off the bench,
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. So I think we're going to take our first break here. The Harvey Hour will be back in just a couple minutes. Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name's Nathan Harvey. That's Stephen Harvey. We just talked about the Celtics, how much they failed, the catastrophic collapse of the Celtics after being up 2-1 in the series. Now I want to talk about this from the Warriors' perspective. The Warriors were down 2-1 in the series and clawed their way back to win in Game 6. So now I ask you, Dad, what do you think was the key to the Warriors' success?
Stephen Curry.
Stephen Curry.
Yeah. They couldn't stop him.
Right.
Yeah, only one game that they held him back, and then the Warriors adjusted, and all the other players made got a lot of points. So he was the key, and he did his job. He's a superstar, and he showed it. Well, I think that's the number one reason.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, as we've talked, actually, we mentioned this in the prior segment. You know, their defense was fantastic. I thought the Celtics had great defense, but not as good as the Warriors. The Warriors played that defense. They challenged. The Celtics were bigger, right?
Yeah.
They were more physical. They tried to go down low. They couldn't make those baskets down low. They missed so many little, what could have looked like layups, because the Warriors' defense was just smothering. I never seen any suffocating defense like that before. They caused a lot of turnovers. So Stephen Curry and the defense. I do think Wiggins, he had a very good series too. He both rebounds and shooting, assists. He had all round. He was very steady, consistent. Klay Thompson wasn't so hot at the beginning, but he picked it up later on in the series. And Jordan Poole wasn't so good early on, but he picked it up too. And some of the shots he hit, I don't know. I think they were lucky. They were so far out. I couldn't believe it.
The buzzer beater at the end of the third in Game 5.
Crazy.
Put them up by 1.
Yeah. But, they won in 6, and you predicted it. You were right. I thought that thought last night before the game started that it would go 7. I thought the Celtics were going to win last night.
Yeah.
And I was surprised they didn't. They got off to a great start, and then they just, I don't know what happened. I think maybe they were tired. They had 2 previous series that was 7 games. The Warriors didn't have to work quite as hard to get to the finals. Tatum and Brown played the whole second half of the previous game. So maybe they were tired. Man, they just ran out of gas.
Yeah.
I don't know. But the Warriors, they're great coaching.
Yeah.
Right? Their coaching is fantastic. They're both Kerr and Brown. Mike Brown, he's a very good coach too.
Yep.
And they just knew what they were doing. I think they figured out the Celtics after a couple of games, and they just kept on keeping on, and they won 3 in a row.
Yeah. I think
credit to them.
Absolutely. Obviously, Game 4, Curry's 43 points, 10 rebounds. That was that was the reason why they won Game 4. Game 5.
That was a killer. That was a
absolutely.
killer for the Celtics.
Absolutely.
They could have gone up 3-1. They were ahead by 4 with 5 minutes to play.
Yeah.
Right? And they that was a killer.
The Celtics throughout the playoffs and throughout the NBA season last year, now we could say last year, was they were one of the worst clutch time teams ever. Within 5 minutes, within 5 points, they were one of the worst teams to close out those games.
I didn't know.
So in these clutch time situations, if it got down to that, it actually more so favored the opposing team, regardless if the Celtics had a lead or not. If it was within 5 points, within the 5-minute mark, the clutch time, the Celtics were terrible. And you saw that. In Game 4, Curry's 43 points closed them out. Yeah. Game 5, 26 points, 13 rebounds, Andrew Wiggins. When Curry was 0 for 9, he just played absolutely horrible. I have it right here, actually. 7 of 22, that's basically 32%. 0 of 9 from 3, 16 total points. That was strictly because of Andrew Wiggins, who put up 26 points, 13 rebounds, he still shot 0 of 6 from 3, though, but he made 12 of 23 baskets to get him to the 26 and 13 boards. And then Game 6, it was Curry. Curry, 34 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. The thing that makes the Warriors very, very special is their ability to move the ball. They are one of the best. They're one of the best ball-moving teams that I've ever seen, and a huge aspect of that is each player can be an off-the-ball player. Curry is one of the best at that, creating space off ball, setting up open shots for his teammates. Draymond Green's phenomenal with that, with the high pick and rolls, especially for Curry and Klay Thompson. Setting that high pick and roll, allowing them to get the open shot at the 3. That's what immediately. Once Klay Thompson and Draymond Green and Steph Curry were all on the floor together, you saw that immediately. I think it was against the Wizards earlier this year. I believe it was Klay Thompson's first game or Draymond Green's first game coming back from injury. Immediately. I think one of the first plays was a high pick and roll to, I think, Klay Thompson or maybe it was Steph Curry, and he made a 3. So immediately you saw what that was going to turn into later on as the season progressed. But the ability for them to move the ball was a huge part about it. It's also, I tweeted this during Game 6. It's experience over talent almost all the time. Experience over talent always wins you. The Celtics, a lot of the part, were the better talented team.
Yeah, I think
significantly better on defense. They had the height advantage.
Yeah.
They could drive the ball very well.
The quickness part of it, I don't think they were as quick as the Warriors.
Their defense was better. You had definitely had size on the Warriors. Robert Williams had the shot blocking ability.
Think when the Warriors played so close to them on defense, out at the 3-point line, they would have been quick enough to get the ball underneath and get it into somebody or find an open man. But they didn't. They couldn't. They could not break that suffocating defense. That was the difference, I think, for the most part.
Right.
And they got frustrated.
Yeah.
They got frustrated by it.
Jason Tatum was also very, very frustrated by non-calls, a lot of contact. Some of it was, that was fine. Maybe he got hit and, they didn't call it. But a lot of it was just him just getting frustrated by him just missing the shot or missing the layup.
Or turning it over.
Yeah.
He shouldn't put the ball on the floor. They should have found him, should have had somebody else driving it in there, kicking it back out to him for an open throw.
Yeah.
It would have been much better. Played a lot better. And, the first game, he didn't shoot that well, but he had 13 assists.
Right.
But after that, he just didn't shoot well. And he just didn't play up to what he's capable of.
Absolutely. Also,
so I think the Warriors, good chance they'll be back next year.
Absolutely.
Stay healthy. I don't know what Curry's contract is, how many more years he's got on it, but I don't think he's going anywhere.
Nah, I think he'll stay a Warrior for life.
Maybe their bench, the bench, there's Poole and who else is on their bench?
You got Jonathan Kuminga, who is I guess he's a forward. I guess you're a power forward.
Poole is on their
Gary
bench.
Payton II.
Gary Payton, I know he'll be back. He's a jerk. And Iguodala, he's old.
He's what, 37?
He
I
played
a
little bit, not much.
He played 1 minute.
So I don't think they have that
minute.
deep a bench. They when they were out there, they played really well. So.
Yeah,
but they need a bench player maybe. Their center is Looney. He didn't hear his name called too much. I guess how did he do rebound wise?
In this game, in Game 6 in particular, he had 7 rebounds.
Yeah.
Draymond Green had 12.
He got some offensive rebounds. I think that was part of the difference too. The Celtics couldn't get an offensive rebound.
Yeah.
They didn't even try.
Well, in offensive rebounds, the Warriors won by 4. It was a 15-11 with offensive rebounds. Robert Williams getting the most on the Celtics with 5, Horford with 3. Draymond Green led the way for the Warriors, not offensive rebounds, but in rebounds totally. He had 12 rebounds, 8 assists, and a surprise 12 points. That's a phenomenal Draymond Green game. Him having almost a triple-double with double-digit points.
Most of the rest of the series.
Absolutely.
Right?
No, I agree.
I mean, they won by 13. He got 12 points. Most games he only had 3 or 4. So that was kind of a difference. He was a difference maker.
Well, the Celtics crowd got to him a lot of the time. The Celtics crowd was very, very loud. They bothered. He even said that it got to him sometimes. And I said it on the show.
How old is he?
Draymond Green?
Yeah.
Draymond Green is, I want to say 30?
Is that all?
32.
32.
Yeah. I believe he's the same age as Klay Thompson. Yes, they're each 32. Curry's 34.
Yeah. Oh, so they're getting up there in age.
Absolutely.
They might have maybe 2 more years.
That's why it was so shocking for them to win this. Because of the fact that, yes, the core of the team, they were considered him, washed, old, not being able to win anymore. No. Like I said, experience over talent always. Because a lot of the time, right, when the Celtics, we have to realize, the Celtics were up 14-2 early in the game. 14-2. But the Warriors kept clawing their way back. And it was eventually, at the end of the first.
They had a 21-0 run.
Yeah. I believe it was the end of the first.
Killer.
They went from a down by 12 to the end of the first being up by 5. So that turn A lot of younger teams can't do that. When you get that far down,
Well, they never
your confidence is shot.
They never trailed after that.
It's crazy because a lot of younger teams, if you get down by 12 early, and this is like a closeout game for you, you're gonna be like, oh my god, the crowd's into it. We're down by 12. This is early on. If this is the sign of things to come, I don't think I want to finish this game. We might get blown out by 50.
Right.
And the Warriors did lose by 50 at one point against the Grizzlies. They were down by, I think, 55 at the most.
In the playoffs?
In the playoffs, yeah. So that's the crazy thing about the Warriors, that the experience is what led them, because you had Andre Iguodala, right? Gary Payton got into foul trouble early. You saw Andre Iguodala grilling him on the bench, really up in his ear, saying, yo, you got to get this together. You're doing this wrong, but you have to be careful here. He's like directing him on how to play. And that's a lot of things for younger players, is to have that experience, have that veteran leadership to get that far. That's why I think, you know what, Al Horford, what he brings to the Celtics is very valuable.
I'm sure he'll be back next year.
Oh, I agree with that. And I think you need to bring in some veterans, because you need to teach, especially Jason Tatum. I don't see any teammate in Jason Tatum's here saying, yo, hold on to the ball better. You don't see people in Jaylen Brown's here. Yo, your ball handling sucks. Hold on to the ball better. Yeah. You don't see anyone in Marcus Smart's here saying, what are you doing? Get your head in the game here.
Yeah, I know.
We're losing. We're down 3-2 in the series.
The coach should have. I'm sure he was telling him that when he took the timeouts. But I don't know. I'm not too critical of the Celtics. I mean, they're my team. They made it to the finals. They were one of two teams that made it there.
Sure.
Where all the other teams were at home watching, right? So my team made it to within a couple games of winning the championship. So I'm pretty happy about that. I'm just hoping next year they get back there, and I think they have a better chance to win next time with this experience.
Do you think they would honestly make it back?
I do.
You don't see anyone in the East.
I think they'll go out. They might get another player, you know? They'll find a player that can come off the bench that can help them more than what they had, who is more experienced in them. Well, these guys have experience now, but Grant Williams, I'm not sure whether he's going to be with them going forward or not.
Do you think, like, let's say they have to trade for someone in the offseason, right? Let's say there's not any, like, true point guard free agents out there. Who would you want them to go out and get? Because Russell Westbrook, the Lakers, they seem to want him, and then one day, and then they realize, oh, wait, we have Russell Westbrook.
I don't think Russell
the
Westbrook is the right guy. Celtics.
I agree with you, but who do you think will be available for the Celtics, and who would you give up? Because right now, I'm looking at the team right now. Your starting five is the only true value you have.
A free agent. Maybe they pick up a free agent.
I guess that could be, but I mean, I'm taking a look at this value-wise for the Celtics.
They could trade Theus, whatever his name
is.
Was
it Tice?
Theis, yeah. They could trade him. Might not get too much for him.
Yeah, I wouldn't keep him either, because you have Robert Williams, who's a better center anyway. He's a much better shot blocker.
Yeah, he's a keeper, that guy.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I
think you don't break up the core of the starting five. You try to talk to Marcus Smart and turn him more into a point guard, you know?
You could. But, I mean, that's not really his game, though. He's much more of a defensive point guard. I really can't see Marcus Smart changing his game. How many years he's been in the league? I mean,
he should definitely focus on defense, because he's great on defense, right?
Yes.
And then, you know, he could be a point. I mean, he is kind of the point guard. He
has to be the point guard.
He has to be.
There's no one else.
He brings the ball up, and he just turns it over too many times.
He also just plays dumb basketball.
Sometimes. But sometimes he's good. I mean, there was a couple of games when they won, he had like 24 points in one of those games.
Yeah, game 3, he had 24 points.
And you know what? He should stay away from the 3-point shot, too, because that's not his shot. That's not his shot.
That's not a shot.
He's better off driving in, and if it's open, and take a short shot, or kick it back out.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the beauty of having a true point guard.
Yeah.
And to decipher, okay, I'm going to drive and kick it out to a wide open Tatum.
Plus, he's very tough. He's tough.
Oh yeah,
he's not afraid of getting in there, mixing it up.
Absolutely, yeah. and that's the reason why Marcus Smart is such a good defensive player.
Yeah.
Because he can walk in and be like, okay, I want to take you. I'm going to try to shut you down, and no one can stop me. I'm going to create contact. I'm going to try to draw these fouls, and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
I'm going to try my best to stop you. And that's the reason why he got Defensive Player of the Year. That's why he's such a value to the Celtics, is because he's a defensive player. So he's a serious key part of the Celtics, but I really can't see them. Let's say, for instance, they need to trade, right? They have no value.
No, they haven't got any. They have to go free agency. Who are the free agents this year?
Let's see. 2020, well, I guess 3 NBA free agents. Yeah, it would be 2023. Okay, I think this is wrong. We go 2022 free agents because there's LeBron James a free agent. He ain't a free agent until the following year. Let's see. Oh, John Wall. John Wall. I wouldn't call him a true point. Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, I wouldn't want him.
Let's see. You have Zach LaVine. Maybe, maybe. But
is he a point guard?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's a shooting guard. So if I mean, you want to add Marcus Smart, I mean, technically, yeah. Bradley Beal, he wouldn't be a bad option. Ricky Rubio, maybe. I really don't know. James Harden,
no,
he's old. No. You saw him again. You saw him in the last game. Bradley Beal's not a bad option at all. Kyrie Irving might be out there.
Though, is he? He's in
Bradley Beal's a shooting guard, yeah. But
John Wall is a point guard, but I don't think he's that good.
He's also what 30? Yeah, he's 31.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what they'll do. It'll be interesting to watch. See what they think they might need. I think they need one more player because those guys get tired.
Yeah.
They lean on Tatum and Brown too heavily.
Yeah.
I think they get tired. They need one more guy. I think they have one more guy that could really deliver consistently. Not even 20 points. We could deliver 15 points a game,
Right.
Then and be able to handle the ball well, not turn it over. That could be a big plus for the Celtics.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about it is, right? If the Celtics do get, let's say, they get a true point guard, I think they could win the finals. Because also Jason Tatum needs to learn how to not turn the ball over 100 times in the playoffs. That also would be a key for you. I mean, having triple-digit turnovers, hard to overcome that. And I thought the Warriors were high turnover team.
That's something you work on, though.
Absolutely.
And they could change the offense around so he doesn't dribble the ball as much. Get him as an open shot and catch and shoot. Don't dribble it.
I think, Jason Tatum, when he gets hot, he'll walk right up into you, take the shot, and he'll swish it.
Yeah.
His confidence when he's hot is supreme.
Yeah.
But if he's not hitting, he gets frustrated at himself. Yeah.
How old is he? He's only like 24, right?
I think he's a little bit older than that.
No, I don't think so.
Let's see.
I think they're both, he and Brown are both under 25.
Really? Yeah, he's 24. He's been in the league for how many years? 5?
It came right out of, what did he have, one year in college?
I got to find
out
out
when he's 20 years old.
I think this is
Played
5th year.
4 years.
I think this is 5th year in the NBA. I'll look this up right now. 2018 was his first year. This is 5th year in the NBA. He came in when he was 19 years old. Wow. I did not know that. And Jaylen Brown, he is 25.
Oh, is he 25?
Yeah, he was a year before Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Came in 16, 17. Tatum came in 17, 18, I think. Yeah, 17, 18. So the Celtics,
maybe the Celtics go pick up some of the players they lost. That Rozier guy, he was a
Terry
point
Rozier.
Who's he played for?
Terry Rozier. I mean, that was when they were terrible. When they had Terry Rozier, because he didn't really do much.
They got to the Eastern Conference Finals with him.
How old is he? You said
no.
20.
Who's he play for?
He plays right now for the Hornets.
Oh yeah, that's.
So, I mean, once again, you have no value. Maybe if you trade picks, but I'm taking a look at the team here. I mean, you have no one. Grant Williams.
Maybe there's someone they can draft.
No, I think Derek White probably holds some value.
But they ain't gonna get a high draft pick. Where do they draft the shoot?
That's
next to last, right?
Yeah, they would be next to last. Yeah. So, I mean, I think a first round pick would be helpful.
Maybe there's somebody in European pick up a European player.
Very well could be. I mean,
somebody like Luka Doncic.
Luka Doncic, he was he 18 when he came into the league, and Luka Doncic, if you can compare him to LeBron in the playoffs, and it's surprisingly similar. It is seriously surprisingly similar how close they are within, I think, their first few years in the playoffs. Like, Luka's averaging over 30 points in the playoffs. Like, that is ridiculous. But we're going to take our second break. We'll be back in just a few minutes. This is the Harvey Hour. Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name's Nathan Harvey. That's my dad, Stephen Harvey. And I want to talk about the topic because I want to know your opinion on this. I talked about it in a previous Harvey Hour. I believe it was Tuesday's Harvey Hour for me. The Panthers seem interested in Browns' Baker Mayfield. The problem always with Baker Mayfield this offseason was that his $19 million cap hit that teams are not necessarily willing to pay, at least in full. So that means the Browns would need to pay basically all of it. Can you see the Panthers actually acquiring Baker Mayfield? And if not, what team do you think he would fit best?
I do see the Panthers trying hard to get Baker Mayfield, given that they have Sam Darnold as their quarterback, who's terrible.
Right.
Yeah. And nothing behind him, really. They drafted a guy, but if he's any good, probably be a couple of years before he can do anything. And he'll need somebody to mentor him as a rookie. So, yeah, I think that the Panthers will try hard to get him. I'm not sure how well he'll do there. They don't really have they have McCaffrey. That's it. That's their offense. Right?
Yeah.
Who do they have as a wide receiver? Anybody?
Robbie Anderson.
Yeah.
DJ Moore, I think, is still there. They don't have Curtis Samuel anymore. Tight ends, I have no clue. But Robbie Anderson, who said he might retire.
Really?
Yeah, he said at some point that he may retire. But that turned out, he showed up at camp, so I guess that's just completely down the drain. I guess he's gonna play this year. But I guess it's just those two and then McCaffrey, DJ Moore.
Yeah. So it could be hard for Baker Mayfield with that group. I mean, they don't really have a whole lot on offense. If McCaffrey's healthy,
which is a rarity apparently, because McCaffrey seems to be hurt every single year.
He handles the ball on every play practically. He gets beat up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think that they'll try hard to get him, and if they don't, and that $19 million cap hit, well, then I'm not sure where he goes. I think he may stay with the Browns for the first 4 or 5 games while, what's his name? Deshaun Watson serves his suspension, right?
Right.
Yeah. I think the Browns made a mistake picking up Deshaun Watson, by the way. I've said that repeatedly. And I don't think the Browns, their management had been horrible for a long time. So, I mean, they made the playoffs once with Baker Mayfield, and that's about it for the last 100 years since Jimmy Brown retired.
Yeah.
1964.
Right.
That was the last time they won it. Yeah.
I don't think you've heard this, but there was a New York, I think it was Post or New York Times. I should have looked this up beforehand. You didn't hear about this, but there was news. A New York Times Post, whoever, reported that there were at least 66 massage therapists within a 17-month span that worked on Deshaun Watson. So this it was at 22. Then 2 weeks ago, it was at 24. It went up to 24. And now there's a report that it could be 66, at least 66.
The guy is he's got a big character flaw, he's not the right guy to build a team around. He's got issues.
It seems like there's a problem there.
There's a problem with him, and it's not something he's going to be able to rid himself of because there's so many women have got issues with him. So
right.
It's going to be a distraction to the team for a long time. So I think it was a mistake to go get him.
I think that, isn't this what the commissioner's exempt list was for? Situations like this? And why isn't he on it? Why?
I don't know.
I mean, supposedly there was a report saying that there could be a decision by a third-party source with the situation behind Deshaun Watson probably within the next month or so. You'll hear more of a direction of how Deshaun Watson's at least first season will be with the Browns.
Well, he's suspended for 4 games, right?
Not yet. No.
Oh, not yet? I thought he was. I thought he was suspended.
No.
I think he will be.
I think he'll be suspended at least this season. I could definitely see more.
The whole season, you think?
I absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Well, then Baker Mayfield should stay with the Browns.
He doesn't want to be there, and the Browns don't want him either.
Yeah.
Of course, Baker Mayfield doesn't want to. Yeah. He went to the playoffs. He was hurt, and the Browns
really out of luck.
Exactly.
They won't have any quarterback. They could get Sam Darnold.
Bring Sam Darnold in for him. But I've said this before, and now I actually have a comparison stat. All right, we're gonna fill in the blank here, right? Who do you think this quarterback is? 58 games, 30-28 record, 62.3% completion percentage, a little over 12,000 yards, 79 touchdowns, 53 interceptions. He was drafted in 2001 and played for 2 teams, this being his first team for first 4 years.
So he's not playing anymore.
He's not playing anymore. 2001 draft, played for 2 teams.
How many years did he play?
Ooh, 20?
Really?
Yeah, that's obviously a quarterback. 2 teams. I think you forget he played for this team, though. That's the thing. That's why I think it's tripping you up. If I said 1 team, who would you say? 20 years, drafted in 01. Retired last year.
He retired last
year. Do you not know?
I don't know.
Drew Brees.
Oh, Drew Brees?
Yeah. He played for the Chargers. His first 4 years starting. 30 and 28 record.
Oh, first 4 years. Okay,
right.
Yeah.
62.3% completion percentage, 12,000 yards, 79 touchdowns, 53 picks.
I didn't listen carefully. I'd heard the first 4. And he did retire just last year.
Yeah. So if you take a look at that, you're like, ooh, 62% completion percentage? Not great. 79 to 53 touchdown interception ratio? Not too good. 30 and 28 record? Not that good.
Yeah, well, the Chargers weren't that great.
Listen to Baker Mayfield. 29-30 QB record. 61.6% completion percentage. A little over 14,000 yards. 92 to 58 touchdown interception ratio. That's more touchdowns, more yards, slightly less completion percentage, essentially the same record.
Yeah, and he had a bunch of injuries too. He played with injuries.
Yeah,
I think he's a good player. I don't think he's a bad player.
Then Drew Brees went to the Saints.
Yeah,
who had a great defense at the time. Right, they beat the Colts in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
they won that in 2009, 2010. I think it was 2009. Right? Yeah. Was it Porter Jr.? I think there was the cornerback for the Saints had a pick 6 in the Super Bowl. I'm forgetting his name. I believe he was like number 22 on the Saints. I don't need to get into specifics there.
That play.
Yeah, but a history of great defenses, especially recently for Drew Brees, Cam Jordan, Demario Davis.
Yeah. Well, he went to a better team. That's
right.
For sure.
But I'm saying that the Saints may be a perfect option for Baker Mayfield right now. They have Michael Thomas. They have Olave, who just got drafted. They have Jarvis Landry now.
Yeah.
You have talent set up for Baker Mayfield. You have Alvin Kamara, but who knows what the hell is going to happen with his situation? It seems whatever prison or his domestic assault and was killing a dude.
He killed somebody?
No, he didn't kill. He like beat someone up like a couple of months ago, and no one is talking about it anymore. So who knows if he's actually out of jail or whatnot? But Alvin Kamara in the backfield. You have 3 potentially great receivers. Michael Thomas still needs to jump over some hurdles to get to where he should be. But you have him. You have Chris Olave, I believe that's what his name is. He's a rookie, so who knows how good he's going to be. And then you have Jarvis Landry, who he just played with. So he's familiar with stuff. And then you still have the great defense. You still have Cam Jordan. I believe Demario Davis is still there. You still have Gardner Johnson, who's still there. And I think you have Marshawn Lattimore as well. So your defense is set up for success. I think Baker Mayfield's better than Jameis Winston. So I think the perfect situation for Baker Mayfield would be the Saints, just like Drew Brees. Because if you take a look at the stats again, they're eerily similar.
That's interesting.
That's eerily similar.
Well, they don't seem to be going after him.
And the Chargers at the time had LaDainian Tomlinson, just like Baker Mayfield had Nick Chubb. But the wide receivers weren't there. OBJ seemed to fizzle out real quick on the Browns. I don't know what the hell happened.
What happened there.
That was such a weird situation for both
just
sides.
Being with the Browns, that's why.
It could be. It could be in the losing environment, right?
Yeah.
Losing culture. The Browns were historically one of the worst teams in history. Then he goes to the Rams, who are winning culture, and Sean McVay, OBJ flourishes.
Is he signed by anybody yet?
He's still
OBJ?
a free agent.
Yeah.
Well, he's towards ACL. He won't be available till week 8 or 9 anyway. So that's why people are a little bit worried about him. But I think Baker Mayfield to the Saints. I mean, that for some reason, no one is saying that. The Saints are not interested in Baker Mayfield. I think, you know what? If you're trying to get
the next Drew Brees.
Hey, I'm not saying it will happen, but I mean, if you look at the comparison between the teams and especially their first 4 years starting,
that's interesting. Yeah.
I'm not going to say that he's going to throw for like 4,000 or 5,000 yard passing seasons, play 20 years, Hall of Famer, win a show. I'm not saying that.
I think he's better than his record. I think he's better than.
I think as well.
Than his record shows. He had injuries. He was playing on the Browns. That's a wacko team.
It's a losing culture.
Yeah, and losing culture. I think another chance for him. If it were with the Saints, that's certainly a better team than the Panthers.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think he'd have. You might be right. Could be right about that.
I just think because the Saints, the Browns culture has always been, I feel like, losing because they've never been great. They had, Tim Couch as a quarterback. They had Johnny Manziel, who he had a problem with alcohol and drugs early on.
Yeah.
His immaturity was his downfall in the NFL.
Yeah, they'd never had a quarterback.
You had
Browns.
Tyrod Taylor, who's okay, but again, Browns losing culture. You have Baker Mayfield, who beat this, whooped the Steelers. Not even beat, whooped them in the playoffs. And then you just give up on Baker Mayfield like that for Deshaun Watson? I think the Saints have a much better culture. I think the fans like the team way more than the Browns the Browns fans like the Browns. I think it's just a better culture overall. I think Baker Mayfield would be a great option for the Saints.
Well, you should send an email to the general manager of the Saints and say,
because they'll listen to me.
Baker Mayfield. Maybe he's watching the Harvey Hour. He'll.
Of course.
We'll see what happens.
The hottest talk show on YouTube.
Yeah, right.
We'll talk about this. We won't go to break. We'll go straight to it. We talked about this a few months ago. The baseball season finally starting up again, and we sort of avoided the topic a lot because the Red Sox, which are our team, have been abysmal. Have been embarrassing.
No, they aren't abysmal now. They're a playoff team.
I was getting to it. To it.
I know the reason why they started out slow.
They have been abysmal. They were disappointing. They were horrible, embarrassing, whatever you want to say. And then they picked it up in the month of May and into June.
Yep.
And had one of the best records in the MLB.
Yeah.
And it sucks because in that stretch, the Yankees were they were 11 games up.
Yeah.
Then they go in the stretch. The Red Sox are now down 12 and a half games. So the Red Sox are kind of stuck, and I'm going to lose my bet of $20 I got. The Yankees 4th or 5th.
Oh, really? You have them 4th or 5th?
I needed to before the season started. I said the Yankees will be 4th or 5th. The Red Sox will be above them. My friends are like, no. The Yankees will be better at this, and the Yankees are one of the best teams in baseball.
Well, that's because Aaron Judge is playing for a contract. He's unconscious
now. It's unbelievable.
How many home runs has he got now?
I think it's over. I think it's way over 20. Yeah.
Yeah, 25. I think.
He's having an absolutely phenomenal year. Yeah. But the Red Sox, Trevor Story.
He was a Red Sox. He was on the Red Sox.
Yeah.
They had him.
Same thing with Rizzo. Rizzo was also on the Red Sox at the very, very beginning of his career as well.
Yeah.
And they honestly, and ironically, they're both on the Yankees right now.
I know.
So, why do you think the Red Sox have been so great in the month of May and the month of June so far?
First, I'll say why they were so terrible in the beginning.
Go. Please tell me. I
think it had to do with the strike, and they didn't get the full preseason. Spring training. They didn't have the full complement of that. They had to start, and the pitchers were terrible. And they lost a lot of one-run games in that stretch, and I just think the pitching was not good. The hitting was terrible too. I mean, they were just cold. They couldn't do anything, and some of the hitters aren't that good now. But the big three or big four actually now, I'd say Devers, Martinez, Bogarts, and Verdugo. They're carrying them right now.
Right.
Those guys. And even Vasquez has played pretty well. His batting average was good in May.
Okay.
And, Franchi was okay there. He was doing all right. He had some clutch hits. His batting average was up there. Now it's down in the dumpster again. And Trevor Story, he got hot there, too, for a while, hitting home runs all over the place and driving in runs and stuff. Now he's down the dumpster again, too. So I don't know about those guys. What's wrong with them? They brought up Jaron Duran. He's up there. He got a few hits. And also Ref Schneider. They got him. And he pitched
very well.
Not a pitcher. Ref Schneider.
Oh, no,
right fielder. No, he made an amazing
I saw that catch. That was such a good catch.
Yeah, he's a good defensive player, and he's hitting the ball now. So maybe he's somebody that the Yankees should have hung on to.
Who's the pitcher I was thinking about?
And the Red Sox have him now, and when he gets to playing against the Yankees, maybe he'll do some big stuff. I hope. So
I'm trying to figure out who the pitcher I was talking about. It was some random guy I've never heard before who pitched that game. What was it?
Wonkowski.
Crawford. It was Crawford.
Oh yeah, he's out. What happened to him? They got rid of him, didn't they?
Well, he was the pitcher that pitched in the Ref Snyder catch game. I was like, who the hell is Crawford? That's why I was like,
well, he's terrible.
Hey, he won the game though.
But the Red Sox starting pitching has been great lately.
The bullpen sucks. The bullpen is terrible.
Not very good.
Matt Barnes, though, he's hurt right now?
Is he hurt? Well, he's hurt in the head. I think he's hurting in the head.
Oh yeah, no, his well,
I think they maybe release him.
Mental strength since last season is just completely shot.
He's shot.
Absolutely.
He cannot pitch. I watched it. He walked 4 guys in a row.
Yeah.
Huh? Come on.
Halfway through the beginning half of last year's season, he pitched phenomenal, lights out closing.
He was great.
Then
he was an all-star.
After the All-Star break and up until now, what
when
happened?
He fell apart? He was playing against Toronto, and George Springer, who was his roommate in college, I think, came up, and Barnes came in, and Springer hit a 2-run homer to win the game for Toronto, or put him ahead, I think, might have been the bottom of the 8th. Maybe it was the top of the 9th. I'm not sure. Maybe it was the top of the 9th. And that since then, Barnes has been awful. That was when he really collapsed. I don't know. They can't seem to get him going. That's for sure. So, and Robles has not been very good so far lately. And he was great last year. So I'm hoping he gets it back together because I like him.
No, I like Hansel Robles as well. But I think,
closer, they do have a closer now. It's
Strom?
No.
Yeah, I'll go through the pictures for you.
He's a young guy, blonde hair, got a little beard.
I'll go through the pictures. Yeah. When I hit it on the head, you'll go.
Okay.
Oh, Diekman.
No.
It's not Diekman?
No.
It's not Sawamura. I don't think it's Hans Robles. No.
No.
Schrebler.
No.
Strom, Barnes, Crawford. It's not Valdez. Winkowski.
No. It's a starter.
I don't know why. Oh, that's because Plawecki pitched an inning. He's listed on their pitchers. Pivetta, Evaldi, Rich Hill, Waka, Whitlock, Houck, Davis.
Houck. He's the closer now.
Houck's the closer?
Yeah. Houck is the closer.
Since when?
Yeah. They said it not last night, night before, I think, that he's the closer now.
That's so.
Yeah. He's good.
No, he pitched very well in the playoffs. He came into relief a couple games. He was very
it's a long
very good.
relief then, but now he's the closer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, no, that's good.
Great.
Finally, they have a closer. Since Kimbrel, they didn't have a consistent closer.
He's a lights out pitcher, man. He got some good stuff. Yeah, I'm hoping that they keep him at that role. So I'm hoping the Red Sox, they missed an opportunity last night. They lost to the A's, and both Toronto and Tampa Bay lost. I mean, they're playing for They're playing for a wild card, right? It'd be yesterday with number 1 wild card. That's what I'm hoping for.
What do you think is the key to the success right now, though?
Pitching. The pitching and hitting. The pitching, the starting pitching is great, and the hitting from the people they expect to hit really well, they're doing it.
Right.
They need to get the role players to play a little bit better.
Yeah.
I mean, Jackie Bradley, come on.
I told you from the very beginning. Yeah. Jackie Bradley would not be
they're not playing him that much now. They're letting the younger guys play.
As they should, because I told you from as soon as Hunter Renfroe got traded.
Kiki Hernandez has not played well either.
Oh, he is in such a big slump. He's batting 209. Hey, it's up, though. It used to be 180 something.
Yeah.
Now it's 209.
He's hurt right now. I think he's out.
So, let's see. The crazy part about it is every single person who needs a contract from the Red Sox, Devers, Bogarts, JD Martinez.
No, this should be their year then.
Those guys, all batting over 300.
Yeah.
Well over 300.
Yeah.
JD Martinez is batting 351.
I know.
Rafael Devers, 16 home runs. He also has 85 hits.
Bogarts,
he's
high batting average.
He's batting 332 with
high OPS.
Let's see. He has 31 RBIs. Doesn't have that many homers, 6 homers, but the only player in double digits for home runs.
If Story doesn't pick it up, they may
16.
try to sign Bogarts to another extension,
Well, Trevor Story's there to play second. Trevor Story's there to play second. He said that when he joined. He said that even now. He said, my role on the Red Sox is to play second base.
I know, but if Bogarts leaves, he'll move to short.
If Bogarts leaves, then the Red Sox are going to have the same problem they had entering this previous postseason before the Trevor Story trade. They don't have a second baseman. Arroyo can't be a second baseman.
Kiki Hernandez can play second base. He's
Okay,
pretty good.
But who would you? Okay, so you have Verdugo.
Then you put Jackie Bradley in center.
You would keep Jackie Bradley Jr.
I don't know how long he signed for.
I don't care. I would get rid of him. I said from the beginning, Hunter Renfroe is a better player than Jackie Bradley Jr.
How's he doing?
Hunter Renfroe. Let's look that up right now. But I want to talk about the Yankees because We have to talk about the Yankees. The Yankees are on some sort of crazy streak. Same thing with the Braves. In the last 14 games, have won their past 14. They're 14-0 in the last 14 games. So the Yankees right now are on a roll. I'm gonna look up the Yankees real quick. Their record. They are 47-16.
Amazing.
They are right now untouchable in the American League. But I'm calling it right now. I'm calling it at this very moment. Who would you want? Oh, you want Hunter Renfroe. You want that? Yeah. I'm calling it right now. It's gonna be classic Yankees playoff run or lack thereof. They're gonna do really, really well in the season, right? They're gonna get to the playoffs. They're gonna put Garrett Cole in or whatever. He's gonna lose. They're gonna put in Nestor Cortez. He's the guy with the funny mustache. Yeah. He's lights out right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely playing out of his mind.
They've got some good pitchers.
Hunter Renfroe this season has played 48 games, he's batting 250 with 10 home runs, 21 RBIs.
Yeah, so he'd be a lot better than Jackie Bradley.
That's what I told you. I said Hunter Renfroe, Jackie Bradley trade is a horrible decision. But the Yankees are going to do it in classic Yankee fashion. They're either going to miss the playoffs somehow, which I don't think is possible, but they're going to miss the playoffs, or
they ain't going to miss the playoffs. They already won 47 games.
Oh, no, but I'm just saying.
21 games over 500 right now.
No, I'm just saying they're either going to miss the playoffs, or when they get to the playoffs, they're going to choke it somehow. I do not see them making it to the World Series. They're
have to play a wild card game. That's when they lost last year. The Red Sox beat them. That was great. I'll never forget that.
Garrett Cole became like Kermit the Frog out there. Like he's terrible.
He hasn't done that great this year either, right? He's had some tough games.
No, but like the crazy part about it is
Severino's having a good year.
Wow. Garrett Cole, he has a relatively low ERA for how poorly he seems to be playing. Yeah. He has like just above a 3.
Okay.
But like everyone knows how bad Garrett Cole is against certain teams. Like against the Red Sox, he sucks. He may have one good game out of like 6, but usually he's terrible. But another team I want to talk about is the Mets. Why not talk about another New York team? The Mets. The Mets are doing really, really well this season. They're 42-23.
Maybe it's a Subway Series.
Oh my God! Imagine the Subway Series right now. Like the lowest price tickets, I think are like $190 or something like that. Some crazy thing. Just because both New York teams are like at the very, very top.
Well, they're gonna play each other.
Yeah. Right now, the Mets are the best team in the NL. Record-wise. A lot of people say the Dodgers, and yes,
I'm surprised. Because
oh my God!
DeGrom hasn't thrown a pitch yet. Right?
Not a single pitch, and Scherzer's out as well. They lost their, I think, and they also lost. Was it McGill? They've lost like their top 3 pitchers, and they're still winning games. But right now, I'm taking a look at it. The Padres are now doing better than the Dodgers. So now people who said the Dodgers are a better team. That's a very, very good question. The Dodgers have a great roster too.
Yeah,
it is ridiculous how great they have. Freddie Freeman, Kershaw, Bellinger, Mookie Betts. Bauer's gone for 2 years. Trey Turner.
Justin
Turner?
Yeah.
They got Kimbrel as well. Max Muncy.
They got a lot of big names.
They got a lot.
I don't know why they don't.
What's
Mookie Betts batting average?
Mookie Betts. I'll bring that up right now. He is batting. Well, tell me totals. Please tell me totals. 273. He has 17 home runs and 40 RBIs. Batting almost 300. I guess almost 280. So, the Red Sox, they are fighting. You know, I'm going to look at the wild card standings right now. Number 3?
Yeah.
Let's see. They're number 4 right now, half game behind the Guardians. They're number 4. The Cleveland Guardians for number 3.
Really?
They're the 4th spot right now.
Know that.
Blue Jays, Rays, Guardians, Red Sox.
Huh.
They are a half game out of that 3rd wild card spot.
The Cardinals tonight.
Yes. Which I mean, how good are the Cardinals?
They're pretty good.
Yeah, they're not on the wild card. So yeah, the Cardinals, they have Albert Pujols. He's back on the Cardinals. I wonder how he's doing, because he hit a home run recently. Let's see. He has played. I think he's played 30. Oh wow, he's played more games than I thought he would. 35 games. He's batting .210. Has 4 home runs, 22 hits. So I mean, he's not playing poorly. 16 RBIs, more than some of the Red Sox players. Yeah. He has more home runs than some of the Red Sox players.
Batting averages are down some. A lot of players have lower batting average. They're more focused on OPS.
Yeah.
They get up there and swing for the fences every.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the crazy part about it is that I'm looking at this right now. Albert Pujols right now has a all-time record, like MLB all-time record
Yeah.
for most plays grounded into double plays. Most double plays grounded into.
Oh, really?
With 417.
Wow, that's a little bit of a dubious record.
But yeah, I think that wraps up our Harvey hour for today.
It's great to be on the show, Nate.
Yeah, it's great to have you
show.
back. Great to have you back on the Harvey hour. This is our live one. This is your first live show.
Yeah.
This is your inaugural live show. Hope to have
Bye,
you
everyone.
back.
Okay. Bye-bye.
We'll wrap this Harvey hour. My name is Nathan Harvey. That's Stephen Harvey. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I will be back Monday. We might adjust the time if you want to be back on the show again.
I have the day off on Monday.
Good. So we'll be seeing you 5 p.m. Eastern. The times may change depending on how schedules work out. But 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Monday was that June 19th or no, 20th?
Today is the 17th.
So what, it'd be 20th? June 20th? Monday, June 20th. 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, my name is Nathan Harvey. That's Stephen Harvey. We're the Harvey Hour. See you guys Monday.
Bye.